Education reform is a popular movement worldwide. And in America, our education reform has had significant changes to public education. Reform is something that we've done for decades, but we don't need education reform. We don't need to continue to patch up our education system. We need an education revolution. The most popular reform in the United States is NCLB, or No Child Left Behind. And it is an act that was instated by the Bush administration in 2002. And it basically requires that states have their schools testing their students on reading and math between third and eighth grade and once more in high school. This testing can be helpful as it allows educators to evaluate their students and make improvements on their curriculum according to the results. But this type of reform has done more harm than good. Jack Jennings, a former CEO and president for a nonprofit education research organization called CEP, or Center on Education Policy, wrote a scholarly paper from 2012 entitled Reflections on Half Century of School Reform and Why Have We Fallen Short and where do we go from here? And basically in this paper he talks about how teachers resulted to falsifying tests and disregarding their lessons entirely in order to prepare for the standardized tests that their students will be taking. No Child Left Behind basically has teachers pressured to focus on having their students pass the test, and by focus on the test, their method of teaching has resulted to memorization. NCLB has lowered NCLB has lowered standards by focusing on standardized tests for curriculum. And basically our education system currently tells third graders to focus on reading and math for the next 10 years of their life. And this is problematic. Students become disinterested, resentful, and they grow bored of learning the same information over and over again, the same subjects over and over again. But when they do, lower test results are the outcome. Also, times are changing. We no longer do we live in an industrial revolution age. We live in a digital age. And the education system has not updated as time has. In a video entitled Changing Education Paradigms, Ken Robinson, an English speaker, author, and international advisor on the topic of education, said that education is modeled on the interest of the Industrial Revolution and in the image of it. And he is right. We have the same structure since World War II. With this kind of system, students are confined to a systematic learning method, and their young minds, their young imagining minds, are being confined into boxes. The world is changing, so should the thinking of our citizens. Can you imagine if we just lived in a world where things like women's rights, gays' rights, and civil rights never occurred because people didn't think outside the box? And then you think about so much that we have achieved from people having different minds and thinking outside the box. Information age is something that we live in right now, and we have information readily available at our fingers. But one would think if we have all this information, perhaps we need to stop teaching them what's already here. We should give them an environment that prompts and encourages them to be creative and see what they can make with that information. With an education revolution, we can do just that. Whether a kid likes to play violin or breakdance, there should be courses available for them to nourish their talents. And some will argue that there are art schools and extracurricular activities available for kids to do just that, but no, we need it to be in the core curriculum. As Ken Robinson said, dance is as meaningful as literacy. And I will close with this. If I were to go to an elementary school right now and ask a fifth grade class the popular question of what do they want to be when they grow up, I would get answers like doctors or singers or professors and detectives. I probably can get somebody to say that they want to be president. But if I wanted to be a crime scene investigator, what are the chances of me taking forensic science in school? What are the chances of me enjoying a whole class being turned into a crime scene for me to figure out how the murder occurred? Very slim. In conclusion, it is an injustice to malnourish our children in their talents and abilities. It is an injustice to deprive our children of a quality education. As you've seen, an education revolution can make our citizens in the generation come to be more knowledgeable and inventive. It can improve our country as a whole. For these reasons and more, we need to change the way that we instruct in our secondary institutions by pushing our government to not reform, but to revolutionize our education system.